Good morning, everybody. I hope that you are doing well today. Just a reminder that this Percolator is pre recorded, it's for Friday. In fact, I'm actually recording it before Thursdays. Oh, everything's out of order. But hopefully, I'll be seeing a lot of you on church and Sunday. Um, and we'll go with that. So, for Friday, for today, our devotion again comes from the Mornings with Jesus devotional. And the scripture for today is from 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 7. Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. My oldest grandson, Wesley, was turning 16, and our large, rambunctious clan had gathered to celebrate him. Wes ran track, had good grades, played guitar, and was about to get his driver's license. That last part worried me. Teen drivers often drive too fast, and even if they know better, they sometimes text or talk on the phone. Wesley's parents had bought him a safe car to drive. He'd taken driver's education and demonstrated good driving skills. Still, I worried. Every day, I asked Jesus to protect Wes. Awaking with a start on Saturday night, I looked at the clock. 11:15 p.m. Wes had a curfew of 11 p.m. Was he at home? Was he safe? Fear overtook me as I thought of all the scary things that could happen to a new driver. Weekend nights were especially dangerous, with more impaired drivers on the road. I got up and I started to pace the floor. How many nights had I done this when my own kids were teenagers? I thought about calling him, but that would have been over the top. I thought about being a grandparent was supposed to be easier than being a parent. There was only one thing for me to do. I crept back into the bedroom, grabbed my Bible from the bedside table, went into the living room, and turned to Psalm 91, a scripture passage of protection. Reading Psalm 91 never failed to calm me when I was most worried. I love the image of being covered with heavenly feathers and finding refuge under those wings. I read this, my favorite psalm, 3 times. Finally, my anxiety soothed, and I was ready to go back to bed and sleep, assured in my Lord's promise of protection for Wesley. What do we do when we are worried? I look at my cat, and she spends most of her day curled up in her bed, right in front of the vent that the furnace pumps out heat. And now that we're getting into warmer weather, and I have the furnace turned off, she starts prowling looking for somewhere else warm to kind of curl up and settle down. Cats have 4 basic needs. They need a clean litter box, they need food and water, they need a warm place to lie down, and they need you to just do what you're supposed to do because you are their servant. And so I oftentimes have wondered, what it would be like to be a cat. To have an owner who gives you food and cleans your litter box and scratches behind your ear, and not have to have a care or worry in the world. But that's not exactly true. There have been times where my cat has heard noises that she cannot explain. There have been times when when I'm watching a video on YouTube, because what else is the internet for except to watch cat videos, and the cat starts meowing. And she immediately starts thinking that her territory has been invaded by some other cat, and then becomes very stressed and worried. My cat is not good around strangers, generally. Lately, it seems that she's kind of relaxed that a little bit. But I remember when I got internet installed here, and she would have nothing to do with anything. She just hid and just would not come out until the technician had left and been gone for about an hour or two. And so things that should not have caused her fear and anxiety did. And sometimes when we go through life, We have things that should not cause us the fear and anxiety that they do, but they do. But we also have the things that should cause us fear and anxiety. And what I mean by that, I don't mean like, we should live a horrible, fearful existence. I mean that there are concerns that we definitely have in our life. We all have bills to pay. We all we all have a case of the Mondays sometimes. We all get sick. We all worry about the health of our loved ones. And there are things in our life that will cause us anxiety no matter what. For many new parents, not new parents, but for many parents of new drivers, that first moment of letting their child drive by themselves, that can be a moment of great fear. I remember to this day the first time after I got my learner's permit that I got behind the wheel of a vehicle. It was in a United Methodist Church parking lot, of all things, in my mom's hometown, with my mom in the passenger seat. And I think I took a good 20 years off her life that day. And I can only imagine what she thought then, about 2 years later, when I got my driver's license. And the state had finally told me, you are free to drive. Well, except for the hours of 10 to 3 on a first year driver's license. You are safe to drive by yourself. Now, I imagine for my parents, it might have been a little less concerning. I had actually had a school permit for about a year at that point, because my parents were not looking forward to driving me to school at 7 o'clock in the morning for jazz band and jazz choir practice, and then back at 7 o'clock in the evening for play practice, and then back home at 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. So they were getting very irritated. So I think when I got my school permit, they were very thrilled. But when I got my driver's license and I drove home from our county seat that first day, I wonder if they felt fear. What causes you to feel anxiety? What causes you to feel fear? I look back, Facebook gives us these memory features. And when I started this devotional about a year ago, I was going with a book of Adam Hamilton's Unafraid, which was dedicated to trying to understand fear and understand that fear has its purpose. We need fear in our lives. We can't just simply remove it. And so sometimes I think in our quest to completely remove fear and anxiety, we take out the value it has. The reason we have fear and anxiety over the health and well-being of our loved ones is because we have love. You don't get one without the other. And because of that, though, yes, fear is a negative emotion. No one likes to be afraid. We might like to be scared, but that's different than being afraid. You're scared when you're watching a horror movie. You're afraid when you're truly fearing for something going wrong in your life. But there's that other sense, the reward of love. And in some ways, that's worth the fear. Do you ever think God fears for your well-being? Like a parent fears for a child's well-being, do you think God fears for yours? How does that feel? Understand that Fear and love go together. And so while God has that intense love for us, he might also have a sense of worry over what we do. He might empathize with our pain. And so, like a child who's not home at curfew yet, let us call our parent. Let us let God know how we're doing. Let us speak to God. So today, at the end of this devotional, I invite you at some time to call God, to pray, and to just let him know how you feel, to let him know where you're at, and to just build that connection. We won't do it together. Not today. But I invite you sometime today to take that time and pray. That's all I have for us today. Hopefully, knock on wood, things go better than it did last week, and I'll see you all on Sunday at regular church times, so we'll go with that. Have a good day, everybody, and have a good weekend. I haven't checked the weather yet, but I think it's supposed to, if I remember right, it's supposed to be pretty decent when I checked it yesterday anyway. So hopefully things go well, and we will see you all later. Have a good day.